love New York from Denver.
Hello, my friends. It's the Heinz Honey and Almond Cream Program. Starring George Burns and Gracie Allen, with Frank Parker, Ray Noble and his orchestra, and Truman Bradley speaking. And now, for those two friendly hands, George Burns and Heinz Honey, Gracie Allen.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
You know, Gracie, coming down to the studio tonight, I saw a big banner saying, "Vote for Gracie."
Yeah, I know.
All over town, I see billboards saying, "Put Gracie in the White House."
Mm-hmm.
It's in the newsreels, it's in the papers. Signs right here on stage saying, "Send Gracie to Washington." What does this mean?
Well, George, I'll let you in on a secret. I'm running for president.
You're running for president?
Yes.
Gracie, how long has this been going on?
For 150 years. George Washington started it.
Gracie, why are you running for president?
Well, because that's the only way you can get to the White House. You can't just walk in and sit down.
The idea is preposterous.
Yeah, not only that, it pays good money.
Look, you don't stand a chance. Presidents are born.
Well, what do you think I was, hatched?
Listen, there's nobody who'd be any happier about your success than I'd be, but in the entire history of the United States, there's never been a woman president.
Well, yeah, isn't that exciting? I'll be the first one.
But I tell you the truth.
Hello, George. Hello, Gracie.
Hello, Frank.
I tell you haven't a Chinaman's chance.
Well, I don't know about that. Confucius say, lady who has eye on presidential chair pretty soon gets seat on it.
And George Burns say, girl who talk nutty Wednesday make good nut Sunday.
Oh, that's good.
How you like that joke, Frank?
Egyptian monument.
Egyptian monument.
Sphinx.
It does, huh? Gracie, have you any idea what a person has to be before they become president?
Sure, elected.
The whole thing is absurd.
Oh, stop worrying, George. I may not even be elected until next November.
Well, that's a load off my mind.
I might not even be in the White House before 1941.
I see. In other words, you're as good as in.
I'm better than in.
What do you mean you're better than in?
Well, if I was in now, I'd have to be getting out next January.
You, the President of the United States.
And Mexico.
And Mexico?
Well, sure. It's just across the border from California, so it'll be easy for them to vote for me.
What about Canada?
It'll be a landslide.
You know, this may be a shock to you, but there are some places that don't belong to the United States.
So what? How many votes are there in Glendale anyway?
For president, it takes a person with tremendous stamina, a person with unusual ability and sound judgment, a mental genius.
No, thanks.
Thanks. A person has to have courage and show plenty of backbone.
Show plenty of backbone? Wait till you see my new evening dress.
Still doesn't make you a leader of men. You have to have plenty of followers.
Wait till you see my new evening dress.
A president must have determination. He must let people know what he's made of.
Well, wait till you see my new evening dress.
I know.
Say, Gracie, when you're elected president, you ought to change the income tax law so all stars are allowed the same deduction.
Frank, in this country, everybody's allowed the same deduction.
Oh, yeah? Look what Sally Rand is allowed to take off each year.
How do I get mixed up in these things?
Well, Frank's helping me in my campaign.
Oh, then it'll be a tremendous success.
Sure. You see, every day I have to go out and kiss a lot of babies, and Frank goes along with me to kiss the mothers.
Yeah, he does, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, boy, and I'm a terrific speaker. Well, I addressed 500 mothers this afternoon.
What did you say to them?
Get in line there, kiddies, get in line.
Kitties.
Yeah, he did.
Now, listen to me, Gracie. This thing has got to stop before it goes too far.
Say, George, didn't you know that Gracie was running for president?
Sure, I knew it, but I didn't think she was serious.
Why, certainly she's serious. So are Dewey and Garner.
Yeah, but Dewey and Gardner have political affiliations.
Well, maybe that's because they weren't vaccinated.
You don't understand. Have you got a Republican and Democratic machine in back of you?
No, that's a bustle.
A bustle. Well, looks good on you. Glad I asked.
Oh, isn't it exciting, George?
Isn't what exciting?
Well, if Gracie gets in, it'll be the first time that a woman president has ever been elected for a third term.
A third term?
Oh, yes. Oh, she's done a splendid job. I mean, you show me any other country where you can get a double-decker ice cream cone for a nickel.
Ray, I've got a surprise for you. Gracie hasn't done her first and second term yet. You got her mixed up with Roosevelt.
Oh, no, I haven't. Roosevelt lives in the White House in Washington, and Gracie lives in the Yellow House in Beverly Hills. I know.
Ray, sometime I'm going to have you psychoanalyzed.
Oh, thanks, just the same, George, but I've already taken out my first papers.
Well, welcome to our country. That's the silliest thing I ever heard of.
Mrs. Allen, Jaime Fink and the photographers are ready to take those campaign pictures.
Oh, well, don't go away, boys. I'll be right back.
Now, listen to me, fellas.
Stop worrying, George. Gracie's promised to give us all swell government jobs.
Government jobs.
Well, sure.
Are you sap enough to fall for that, Truman?
Sap? Just a minute, George. That's no way to speak to the Supreme Court Justice.
Supreme Court Justice. Truman, do you actually believe
Just
that...
think, George. I'll be the only ambassador to Great Britain who ever played a violin.
Gracie told you she'd make you ambassador to Great Britain, huh?
Yes. Oh, I had my choice of that, or Secretary of the Navy.
I see, but you didn't want to be Secretary of the Navy.
Oh, no, I look so silly in a sailor's suit.
This whole thing is ridiculous. What did she promise to make you, Frank, Secretary of the Treasury?
Well, she wanted it, George, but I'm too smart to tumble for anything like that.
Well, I'm glad there's somebody left in this program with some sense.
I'm the new Postmaster General.
Postmaster General?
Sure, on account of my experience.
What experience have you had?
Want to play post office?
Oh, go away, you silly man.
Oh, boys, wait till you see the picture I had taken.
I'm not interested in any picture. We're here to do a broadcast.
You know, the Democrats have a donkey and the Republicans have an elephant.
What have you got, a squirrel?
Oh, I wish I thought of that. But I posed with the kangaroo.
Kangaroo.
Well, it'll make for a wonderful campaign picture. It was a mama kangaroo and a little baby kangaroo sticking its head out of the pouch. And it's
A baby kangaroo is sticking its head out of the pouch.
Uh-huh, and it's gonna be my election slogan.
What slogan?
It's in the bag. Nah, 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 nah.
Yeah, it is, huh? And now Truman Bradley.
Has any man ever said to you, darling, I love you forever? He says forever, but in your secret heart, you know he means as long as you keep yourself attractive. So by all means, keep them smooth with loveliness. Use Heinz honey and almond cream day in and day out. Every single ingredient in Heinz lotion is good for your rough or tender skin. Whether it's on your face, your hands, or your body, this fine, fragrant cream helps prevent chapping and roughness and that awful weathered dryness that makes your skin look so drawn and so old. Smooth Heinz lotion all over your red hands and wrists. Notice how even one application can make your chapped hands feel softer, look more appealing. Use Heinz as a powder base, too. See how evenly it holds the powder. No caking at all. And as a body rub, Heinz is a honey. It's so extra creamy, extra softening that every drop brings real soothing comfort to tender skin. Heinz Honey and Almond Cream contains 2 vitamins too, A and D. You can count on Heinz, Hinds, for softer, smoother, lovelier skin on hands, face, and body. Now, here is Frank Parker.
Thank you, Truman. For my song tonight, I've chosen Yours Is My Heart Alone by Franz Lehar.
Yours is my heart alone, and without you, life holds no charm. Yours every thought I own, a love the theme of every dream.
Bravo, Frank. That was swell.
Ah, you're just saying that because I'm the Postmaster General.
Oh, stop it.
Yes, you are.
Frank, I just sent a telegram to my campaign chairman in the Middle West.
Oh, good.
He told me he couldn't get any support from the Farm Belt.
So what?
So I told him to wear suspenders.
What happens if the county seat has 2 pair of pants?
Oh, George, you're just trying to say things to make me say silly things so people will laugh at me.
That's bad, huh?
Say, Gracie, what's going to be the name of your party?
Well, Truman, you've heard of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party.
Yes.
Well, mine's going to be the Surprise Party.
The what?
The Surprise Party. Surprise. Surprise.
Yeah, S for screw, U for useless.
And R for reading, writing, and arithmetic.
P for pinhead.
Yeah, and R for oysters are in season, and I for an eye.
A tooth for a tooth.
And S for some fun, and E for pencils.
E for pencils.
ever sharp.
Well, that all depends on how you look at it.
Isn't he contagious?
Say the surprise party's a swell name, I think.
Yes, how'd you happen to call it that, Gracie?
Well, my daddy's a Democrat, and my mother's a Republican, and when I was born, I was a surprise.
So was the Panic in 1907.
Gracie,
Yes, Bubbles.
you know those temporary campaign headquarters we opened on Broadway this morning?
Yes.
Well, I'm afraid we're going to have to move them.
Why?
There's a streetcar coming.
Aww.
Gracie, just tell the streetcar, believe it or not, you're waiting to be president.
Oh, Gracie, I'm working on your campaign song.
You've got a campaign song.
Oh, yes. It starts like this. I'll be down to get you with the taxpayers' money. You better be ready about 8:30. Oh,
Oh,
dear.
Quiet,
don't be
quiet.
late.
Let's sing a song. What do you say?
Oh, by the way, Gracie, you know those pictures in Life magazine of that Republican candidate catching that big mackerel at Miami?
Yes.
Well, I just found out that he's just caught it again in Lake Michigan.
Ray, the whole thing was done to get votes
Now, really, what's the fish running for?
because it doesn't want to get caught.
Mrs. Allen, did you see this morning's paper?
No, what was in it?
My lunch.
Your lunch.
George, this is my publicity manager, Jean.
How do? Well, I'll run along now, but don't forget, Mrs. Allen, you're jumping out of that plane in the morning.
You're jumping out of a plane in the morning?
Only 10,000 feet. It's just to attract attention.
You're liable to get killed.
Sure, but it'll look. But look at all the publicity I'll get.
Gracie, will you stop this?
Mrs. Allen, I'm the sign painter. Are the slogans ready for the campaign signs?
Oh well, I'll make up a few right now. Bubbles, get a pencil.
Okay.
Number 1, Confucius says Gracie Allen for Prez.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I've got it.
And number 2, Gracie Allen for Alderman.
Gracie Allen for alderman.
Yeah, and Alderman for Gracie Allen.
Hey, that's wonderful.
Yes, and baking powder for boobs.
And number 3, we'll make one sign with nothing on it.
A sign with nothing on it.
Sure, to get the nudist vote.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Gracie, why don't you have a doctor examine your head? And if he finds anything, have somebody examine the doctor.
Oh, well, that would be a good idea for me, too.
Yes, do that.
You know, I think this would make an awfully jolly sign. If you're 21, vote for Gracie Allen. If you're not 21, have your mother do it for you. If your mother isn't 21, ask your father. If your father isn't 21, then don't bother reading this sign.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
Hey, that's wonderful.
Hey, sign painter, get out of here with the that's wonderful.
All right, Mr. Burns, but you'll hear from me when I'm Attorney General.
At least, Gracie, if you're elected, I'll get rid of you for 4 years.
12 years.
12 years?
Well, sure, I'm not superstitious about third terms.
You're not, huh? Do you people realize that right now our sponsor's probably listening?
Oh, I say, Bubbles, I happened to see a drawing of you on a Republican poster. Quite flattering, too.
Mr. Noble, that was an elephant.
It's amazing. What will they teach you to do next?
Cheerio.
Cheerio, yes.
You know, Gracie, I've been worrying about the speeches you're going to be making at your rallies.
Have you rally?
Yes, have you rally. Well, wait till you hear the speeches, Truman, then you'll have something to worry about.
Well, I'm serious, George. You see, Gracie, a presidential candidate has to shake hands with millions of people.
Now, like we don't know what's coming.
Why, in a single campaign, the average candidate shakes enough hands to milk all the cows in the country.
Is that so? And what do they do with all the milk?
They use it to whitewash their opponents.
Say, George, is it true that the whitewashes mean more than the dark washes?
That's enough, Gracie. You don't even have to finish it. Just stay where you were.
So at your rallies, Gracie, I can protect you. You see, before each meeting, I can tell the voters how Heinz Honey and Almond Cream will make their hands soft and make their hands white and make their hands smooth.
Well, what if they've only got 2 hands?
Then they can use a small bottle. See what I mean? A small size.
Yes.
Right. They'll only use the 25-cent bottle, and while you're speaking, their hands will be thrilling to touch and good to the last drop.
Truman, you're thinking of Maxwell House coffee.
Oh, hello, Jean.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Allen. Well, they said I couldn't do it. Well, I couldn't get anywhere here in Los Angeles, so I flew right to Sacramento. I couldn't get to first base there, so without food or sleep, I went on to Jefferson City, Missouri, from there to Springfield, Illinois, on into Albany, New York, and then to Washington, D.C. And I clicked.
Nice work.
Here it is.
What is that?
Horns.
Horns?
I've got to give them out at my conventions.
Oh, well, I give up.
These are $3 a dozen, Miss Allen, and they're a steal.
Okay, steal me a dozen.
Now, here's the horn the Republicans and Democrats are using. Of course, this is very hard to blow.
Oh, well, they have a lot more wind than we have.
Yeah, but not between the ears. And what was this convention?
For the Chamber of Commerce.
Where are you gonna hold it?
By the handle.
Oh, come on, come on.
Bubbles, sit down and take a letter.
All right. Now, is this letter important, or can I leave my gloves on?
Well,
Gracie,
it's,
you better talk quietly. She uses a soft pencil.
a letter. Frank, what's today's date?
Elsie, Edna couldn't make it.
February 28th.
All right, I'm ready.
Oh, good. To all other presidential candidates, semicolon, United States of America, period, gentlemen, question mark.
Gentlemen, question mark.
I've got it.
Well, boys, the jig is up.
Well, that's a nice opening.
Election day will be in November this year. Turkeys will cost you 38 cents a pound. Cranberries will be 50 cents a bucket. Plum pudding will be $2 each. But a good president won't cost you a nickel, so be sure to go out and vote for me.
That's crazy. You're asking the other presidential candidates to vote for you?
Well, sure. There are so many presidential candidates that if only half of them vote for me, I'm bound to be elected.
I see what you mean.
Go ahead, continue.
This letter is being dictated by a lady, typewritten by a lady. So don't forget to take your hats off while you're reading this.
I've got it.
All right. Sign it Gracie Allen, President of the United States, and mail it out right away.
Gracie, you're not president yet.
Well, I will be by the time they get this letter.
That's some letter.
And Bubbles, make 50,000 copies.
Yeah, one for each candidate.
Yes!
I thought so, yeah.
Bubbles, address the envelope in girlish handwriting, mark it personal, and send it to their homes. I want their wives to read it, too.
50,000 copies. Well, it's a nice hunk of postage to throw away.
What do you mean postage? I'll initial the corners of the envelopes and they won't need stamps.
Frank, would you believe this for a minute? I forgot you were Postmaster General.
Well, that's life, I guess.
Yes, I guess so.
Mrs. Allen, the reporters are here.
Oh, well, send them in.
Reporters?
Uh-huh.
This way, ladies and gentlemen.
Miss Allen, I'm Harry Crocker of the Examiner.
How do?
Matt Weinstock, Daily News.
How do?
Casey Shawn, Los Angeles Times.
How do?
Gracie, why are you shaking hands with your left hand?
Well, I'm saving the right hand for when I'm president.
How do?
How do?
Miss Allen, my newspaper wants to know just what your platform is.
Well, it's knotty pine trimmed with oak and inlaid with California redwood.
That's to match your head.
Yes.
I thought so, yes.
Now, Miss Allen, what would be the first thing you would do if you were elected president?
I'd put my daddy in the Senate.
Your daddy doesn't know anything about the Senate.
Oh, yeah? He's been making speeches from the floor for years.
He's still on the floor, I bet.
That's my daddy.
Yeah, that's the kid, yeah.
Miss Allen, my senior editor wants to know, what's your opinion on capitalism versus the little man?
Well, I don't know. I never go to wrestling matches.
Are you in favor of monopolies?
Oh, well, I don't play Monopoly. I like Mahjong better.
Yeah, and dominoes.
Yes.
Now, what do you think of the neutrality bill?
Well, if we owe it, let's pay it.
Gracie, why don't you call this off? You know nothing about it. You haven't said one thing that's right.
Well, I'd rather be president than right.
Boys, there's no use trying to interview her.
Mr. Burns, would you stop balling her up?
I'm balling her up.
Yeah!
Oh, quiet.
Miss Allen, all the other candidates are talking on how to bring back prosperity. Now, what's your point?
She doesn't even know what prosperity is.
I do too. Prosperity is when business is good enough so that you can buy the things on credit that you can't afford anyway. And that's when you can save up enough money to pay cash for new things after they've taken back the things you've got on credit. Nuh.
How are you doing, boys?
Miss Allen, would you recognize Russia?
Well, that's hard to say. You see, I meet so many people.
You don't have to meet them all in this program, do you?
What do you think of the British blockade?
Oh, we'll get by.
We will, huh?
Well, look, I say, George, I don't mind being referred to as British, but I do object to being called a blockade.
Boys, this is Ray Noble.
Well, how do you do, ladies, gentlemen?
He looks like a pipe cleaner I once threw away.
Well, now that may be possible. Where did you throw me?
Cheerio.
Oh, yeah, cheerio.
Cheerio, yes.
Miss Allen, what do you think of our national debt?
Well, we ought to be proud of it. It's the biggest in the world.
Boys, either go ahead or just go so we can finish our broadcast.
Quiet.
Quiet?
Yeah, quiet.
Now, Miss Allen, how would you keep our gold reserve from shrinking?
Well, I'd wash it in Lux.
Truman, maybe you can get these guys out.
I'll try, George. Say, boys, I've got a bottle in my overcoat.
A bottle.
Scotch or rye?
Heinz Honey and Almond Cream.
Thanks, Truman.
You're too late, Truman. I gave that bottle to my girl. She's got a couple of chaps I'm trying to get rid of.
Thanks, Frank.
Boys, this is Frank Parker, the Postmaster General.
He ought to be swell. He's got a face like an old-style 1-cent stamp.
It's a nice deal for you, Pinky.
Thank you.
Now, Miss Allen, just a few more questions. Is there anything you can
Boys, are you through?
Not yet, Mr. Burns. But don't feel that you have to stick around on our account.
Well, this is the end. I'm going to call up the sponsor, explain the whole thing to him. I'm not going to lose my job.
Come on, boys. Let's finish this interview.
Operator, get me long distance.
Miss Allen, is there anything...
No, please, boys. Mr. Burns is calling the sponsor.
Hey, this Noble guy looks very familiar. Mr. Noble, didn't I once see you in Yonkers?
No, I don't think so. I haven't worn a pair of Yonkers in years.
Long distance.
Get me Mr. Marvin of Heinz Honey and Almond Cream, Company, New York.
Hold the line.
Miss Allen, is there anything you can actually promise the voter?
Oh, sure. I can promise voters that if I can't find a way to reduce the high cost of living, then we'll just have to do without it.
Here's your party.
Hello, Mr. Marvin?
Yes.
This is George Burns speaking.
Oh, yes. How are you?
Well, I just wanted to call you and tell you I have nothing to do with Gracie's running for president. I've been trying to do a broadcast, and all she's been doing is giving away political jobs.
Well, that's a president's privilege, and believe
Oh,
me...
quiet. Let me get through talking. It's ridiculous, Mr. Marvin, making an orchestra leader an ambassador, making a tenor a postmaster general, and making an announcer a Supreme Court justice. It's not my doings, and I just want to tell you I'm not going to stand for it.
Oh, just a minute, Mr. Burns. Don't raise your voice to the Secretary of State.
The Secretary of State? And here's a bit of handy advice.
Children love playing in the snow, but you know that cold wind and freezing slush can chap their hands and knees. They come indoors with cheeks as red as apples, looking so healthy and lovable, but the first thing you know, their tender skin feels so uncomfortable and their little hands are so red and chapped, you feel possibly sorry for them. Now it's easy to help guard against chapping in the first place. Train your youngsters to cream their hands and faces with Heinz before going out in the cold. Heinz Honey and Almond Cream is extra creamy, extra softening, helps skin smooth and comfortable. Put a bottle of Heinz in the coat closet, ready to smooth on hands and faces and knees. Children love Heinz. It's so nice and fragrant, not sticky either. Just feels so grand and soothing. You can get Heinz Honey and Almond Cream at toilet good counters in 10, 25, 50-cent sizes, or the big economy dollar size for family use.
And now Gracie will sing Chula Chihuahua.
Agua caliente, I'll never forget. Agua caliente, there is where I bought a pet. A little toy, oh boy, my chihuahua, he is my pride and joy. How I looked her from another boulevard, walking my chihuahua.
Yes, now you can enjoy both Heinz lotion in bottles and Heinz Henry cream in jars. Those smart red and white jars contain the fluffiest, creamiest hand cream Heinz could make, like the famous Heinz lotion. The Heinz hand cream is quick softening for chapped hands. It comes in two sizes, 10 cents and 39 cents a jar.
Thanks, Truman. Well, Gracie, say goodnight.
No, wait, first I want to thank Bill Corum for his lovely wiring endorsing my campaign.
Well, good. Now say goodnight.
Good night. I'll see you in the White House.
Good night.
Next Wednesday at the same time over these same stations, George and Gracie and all the rest of us will be back again. Don't forget for honeymoon hands, it's Heinz Honey and Almond Cream. Today's performance featuring Michael Franco as George Burns, Nancy Albertson as Gracie Allen, Russ Gannon as Frank Parker, Craig Howard as Ray Noble, Lorraine Bishop as Bubbles, Laura Sweet as the sign paper, and me, George Fennell, as Truman Bradley. This program was produced and directed by Chris Clark. This is the Altaira Broadcasting System.
That's it. There we go.
Before we leave, Russ Gannon and Craig Howard will do a comedy classic.
Well, Costello, I'm going to New York with you. You know, Bucky Harris, the Yankees manager, gave me a job as a coach for as long as you're on the team.
Look, Abbott, if you're coach, you must know all the players.
I certainly do.
Well, you know, I've never met the guys, so you'll have to tell me their names, and then I'll know who's playing on the team.
Oh, I'll tell you their names. But you know, it seems like they give these ball players nowadays very peculiar names.
You mean funny names?
Strange names, pet names like Dizzy Dean.
His brother Daffy.
Daffy Dean.
And their French cousin.
French?
Gouffet.
Gouffet Dean. Well, let's see. We have on the bags who's on first, what's on second, I don't know who's on third.
That's what I want to find out.
I say who's on first, what's on second, I don't know who's on third.
Are you the manager?
Yes.
You're going to be coach too?
Yes.
And you don't know the fella's names?
Well, I should.
Well, then who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the fella's name.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who?
The guy
Who
playing...
is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
That's it.
That's who?
Yes.
Look, you got a first baseman.
Certainly.
Who's playing first?
That's right.
When you pay off the first baseman every month, who gets the money?
Every dollar of it.
All I'm trying to find out is the fella's name on first base.
Who?
The guy that
That's
gets
it.
Who gets the money?
He does. Every dollar. Sometimes his wife comes down and collects it.
Whose wife?
Yes. What's wrong with that?
Look, all I want to know is when you sign up the first baseman, how does he sign his name?
Who?
The guy.
Who?
How does he sign his...
That's how he signs it.
Who?
Yes.
All I'm trying to find out is what's the guy's name on first base?
No, what is on second base?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
One base at a time.
Well, don't change the players around.
I'm not changing nobody.
Take it easy, buddy.
I'm only asking you who's the guy on first base.
That's right.
Okay.
All right.
What's the guy's name on first base?
No, what is on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
I don't know.
He's on third. We're not talking about him.
How did I get on third base?
Why, you mentioned his name.
If I mentioned the third baseman's name, who did I say is playing third?
No, who's playing first?
What's on first?
What's on second?
I don't know.
He's on third.
There I go, back on third again. Would you just stay on third base and don't go off it?
All right. What do you want to know?
Who's playing third base?
Why do you insist on putting who on third base?
What am I putting on third?
No, what is on second?
You don't want who on second?
Who is on first?
I don't know.
Third
base. Look, you got an outfield?
Sure.
The left fielder's name.
Why?
Just thought I'd ask you.
Well, I just thought I'd tell you.
Then tell me who's playing left field.
Who's playing first?
I'm not. Stay out of the infield. I want to know what's the guy's name in left field.
No, what is on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
I don't know.
Third base.
The left fielder's name.
Why?
Because.
Oh, he's center field.
Look, you got a pitcher on this team.
Sure.
The pitcher's name.
Tomorrow.
You don't want to tell me today?
I'm telling you now.
Then go ahead.
Tomorrow.
What time?
What time what?
What time tomorrow are you going to tell me who's pitching?
Now listen, who is not pitching?
I'll break your arm, you say who's on first. I want to know what's the pitcher's name.
What's on second?
I don't know.
Third base.
Got a catcher?
Certainly.
The catcher's name.
Today.
Today and tomorrow's pitching.
Now you've got it.
All we got is a couple of days on the team. You know, I'm a catcher too.
So they tell me.
I get behind the plate to do some fancy catching. Tomorrow's pitching on my team, and a heavy hitter gets up. Now, the heavy hitter bunts the ball. When he bunts the ball, me, being a good catcher, I'm going to throw the guy out at first base. So I pick up the ball and throw it to who?
Now that's the first thing you've said right.
I don't even know what I'm talking about.
That's all you have to do.
Is to throw the ball to first base.
Yes.
Now, who's got it?
Naturally.
Look, if I throw the ball to first base, somebody's got to get it. Now, who has it?
Naturally.
Who?
Naturally.
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 So I pick up the ball and I throw it to naturally.
No, you don't. You throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
That's different.
That's what I said.
You're not saying it.
I throw the ball to naturally.
You throw it to who?
Naturally.
That's it.
That's what I said.
You ask me.
I throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
Now you ask me.
You throw the ball to who?
Naturally.
That's it.
Same as you. Same as you. Now, I throw the ball to who? Whoever it is drops the ball and the guy runs to second. Who picks up the ball and throws it to what? What throws it to? I don't know. I don't know. Throws it back to tomorrow? A triple play. Another guy gets up and hits a long fly ball to because. Why? I don't know. He's on third and I don't give a darn.
What?
I said I don't give a darn.
No, that's our shortstop.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Here you are. Very good. Thank you.